Okay, next up, a new maker out of Seattle, Encocoa. This is dark chocolate. It is 67%. The cacao is from Zorzal, from the Dominican Republic, who many makers that you may know of use Zorzal Cacao. They've been making chocolate for quite some time now, and cacao. So they're making cacao for quite some time, and they're a combination of a farm and a bird sanctuary. So doing really good work down in Dominican Republic. So Dawn has been curious and enticed for many, many years in the chocolate industry, and has just finally is very close to launching a little shop, launching her brand. She's reimagining chocolate in ways that chocolate needs a lot of reimagining, honestly, in the ways that we engage with the global South and global North trade, the relationship between the two places, how we make the chocolate, how we package it, as I was saying in another video. All of these things could use some rethinking. These days, we're doing a lot of rethinking about a lot of things, and chocolate should not be an exception. So one of the things that Dawn has done is change the format. So you'll notice this little pouch, and within the pouch, there are little tasting squares. I don't know why it's better on this side. Little tasting squares that are cubes. So this is going to be a different experience. Shape matters a lot in chocolate. So the thickness of a bar, if you ask a chocolate maker, oftentimes they will tell you that the thickness of their bar, the mold, all these sorts of things can be very, very particular, and that makers may have a very particular point of view. And I think that Dawn in this case definitely is feeling like, oh, I want to make little squares, little tasting cubes that people can have. You've got a portion size, you've got a different experience when it's like that, when it's in a thicker shape. Some people like thicker chocolate, some people like much thinner chocolate. It's a matter of preference. For myself, one of the favorite formats that I like is not made by any of the smaller craft chocolate makers, because I think it would be a huge pain to do. And I do not endorse Lindt chocolate and say it's happy chocolate, because it's not. But one of the formats that I've loved the most was these very, very thin, they're squares about this big. I don't know how big that is, but squares that are quite thin, and they're packed in a box, so they're layered, almost like wafers. And the experience of that and having it melt on your tongue, they were too big for me. I would break them into quarters because I like things in small amounts. For me, that's a fantastic sort of thickness or thinness. So this is the beauty of makers having a point of view and making something that they really love and think is the right shape or format or flavor, the right roast, or the right, refinement, all of that kind of stuff. So as you're tasting, and I'm not going to taste this live because I've had a lot of chocolate already today, and I've had a couple of these a few moments ago, notice the texture, notice the flavors, notice how the flavors evolve over time, and see what you think. So, Encocoa. This is a maker I've never included before, and who I saw just recently at the Northwest Chocolate Festival, and she approached me, and I was very curious to try her chocolate, and I'm excited to see what she's going to do next. She really wants to think about other ways. She is using cacao husks to make paper, so just really creative and sort of rethinking what kind of relationships we can have with cacao and chocolate as we consume it.